Hello YouTube, we have, this is me, Landon, Red It Takes, and we're here with another season preview. Today we'll be tackling the AFC North Division. If you're just stumbling through this video, give it a watch, like, share, subscribe, comment, and let's get to it. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens, who had a pretty good offseason, even though they have looming issues that need to be dealt with, but we'll talk about that. In the offseason, they added Morgan Moses, offensive tackle. They added Michael Pierce, a defensive tackle, which is a pretty good add. Brought back Calais Campbell. Brought in Marcus Williams on a huge deal. Stolen from the Saints, which as a Saints fan, that kind of sucks. Actually, that really sucks. He'll probably be a good addition for them, especially since they'll be getting back there. Hopefully keep their key secondary players healthy this year. And then they added Kyle Hamilton in the draft after they traded away Hollywood Brown to the Cardinals, which is probably going to be a good selection for them. I'll talk about the Cardinal side of it when I cover the NFC West division, but I'd say right now that even just on pure upside, Baltimore wins that trade. I mean, sure, because they must have a lot of faith in Rashawn Bateman to fill in the holes. And then they added Tyler Linderbaum at center, which is a really good pickup for them. Should solidify that offensive line for a long time. Hopefully he's in the vein of Marshall Yanda for them, who was a great player in his day. Key losses, as I said, Marquise Brown, who I suppose may not be the biggest loss in the world because he had a pretty good season last year, but he was invisible at times. They lost Sammy Watkins, who again, they may or may not miss him, I'm not sure. And Sam Cock as their punter, who was a long-time punter and a pretty good one at that. Like I said, they must have a lot of faith in Rashawn Bateman that he is going to be able to fill in where Marquise Brown played. I think it remains to be seen how good he will actually be. He showed some flashes last year, but since Lamar was so injured last year, yeah, I guess we probably haven't gotten a fair look at him, so remains to be seen if he can be even better than he was last year at times. Like I said, they have some looming issues coming up, and that is Lamar Jackson. He's going to be due a big payday eventually, in either sometime this season or during the offseason, and from what I've been seeing, Baltimore just doesn't seem overly interested in signing him. I mean, he's gonna be a big catch. He's gonna demand a lot of money, but even still, Baltimore is just not. It just doesn't seem interested in making that a key signing for them, giving him an extension. And I agree. I would agree with the Ravens in their hesitation, just because Lamar is coming off a injury-plagued season, and it's still like 2 years removed from his MVP season, so I guess we'll see. I am of the opinion that Lamar Jackson is a great football player. I don't think he's the best passer in the world, I'm sorry. Probably get some heat for that, but he's just, I don't think he can make all the throws. He looks great, and that defense on that team is going to be excellent as always, should they remain healthy. And they're getting J.K. Dobbins back, who supposedly will be in the PUP, even though, what a surprise, Adam Schefter messes things up again. And yeah, I think the Ravens should be a good team. Probably finishing first this year. I think right now, probably 10-7. I think it's a good, because that division should be pretty good for the most part. Ravens have issues coming up. Lamar Jackson is going to be a huge issue. And if they don't sign him, I don't know what they're going to do. But, yeah. Let's get on to the Bengals. They brought in, well, I guess let's talk about the Bengals a little bit. They, after the surprising run to the Super Bowl, and they probably should have won the Super Bowl. They just fell apart in the end. But I think the Bengals should be a really good team. They fixed some key issues for them. They brought in Hayden Hurst at tight end. Should be able to do a good job at filling in for CJ Uzomah, who was lost to the Jets. And then redoing that offensive line, bringing in La'el Collins, Alex Kappa, Ted Karras. I think Ted Karras is probably the lesser of the three signings. I mean, because while he was with the Patriots have lots of offensive line issues, and they chose not to re-sign him, so make of that what you will. And then we have, they made many key defensive re-signs, even though I still think their defense can show flashes, but they still get burned a lot down the middle of the field. And they drafted Daxton Hill at safety, and not much name recognition to him. At least I don't know much about him. I think he'll probably just be another serviceable defensive draft pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. Like I said, they lost CJ Uzomah to free agency, and they lost Larry Ogunjobi, who could be a key missing piece in that defensive line. I don't know how they're gonna handle that. I guess it remains to be seen. I think overall the Cincinnati Bengals offense should be even more explosive in the offseason or over the season. Those offensive line pickups should be really helpful for them. Maybe Burrow will be able to get through the whole season without any injuries, and I think he should have a excellent season this year. Could be in the running for MVP, to be honest, because that offense is so potent. Joe Mixon is just one of the most underrated running backs in the league. He can run, catch, do everything. He can block. And then they have Jamar Chase, of course, and T. Higgins. I think look for T. Higgins to be a sleeper for number one receiver for them at the end of the year. Not like position-wise, but stats-wise, just because Jamar Chase is going to draw so much attention. T. Higgins is going to pick everything up beyond that. I like the Bengals. I think they'll be right in it for first with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they have a chance to challenge them for sure. This division is going to be great this year, as it usually is. And I like the Bengals to go 9-8, perhaps 9-8, or they could go 11-7, to be honest, or 11-6. So I guess it all depends on their injury situation and if they're able to keep Burrow on his feet all year. So next, let's get to the mess that is the Cleveland Browns. As you all know, they brought in Deshaun Watson this year, and he still has ongoing issues. They brought in Amari Cooper for a 5th and a 6th round pick from the Cowboys. I'll talk about the Cowboys side of that when I review the NFC East. But yeah, the Cowboys will probably end up looking really terrible for that. Brought back David Njoku, who seemingly, I'm still surprised he's still around. He showed some flashes last year, but again, he had injuries. But they brought him back over Austin Hooper, so they must believe in him somewhat. They gave Denzel Ward his big boy contract, and it's totally well deserved. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. Cover corners can basically do anything you ask him to do. Brought back Davion Clowney. who just been mainly consistent wherever he's gone. And then they brought in Shaquem Grant, who should be a good returner for them. Kick returner, punt returner. Thankfully, he won't be terrorizing the Packers anymore with the Bears. Thank God he's gone. And, I should be able to get some offensive snaps too. And then they lost Jarvis Landry going to the Saints. I love that deal. And they lost him he didn't get that big of a deal with the Saints, so I don't know why the Browns just kind of let him go. I suppose it's probably a cap issue. Like I said, they lost Austin Hooper. They lost their key mainstay in the offensive or centerpiece in the offensive line with J.C. Treader, who held that all together. So I think their offensive line should still be good, but it could fall off a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. Lost Malik Jackson on defensive line. I mean, he hasn't been much for the last couple of years. I just wanted to add something else. And a lot of the other losses I don't think will matter too much. But to the Deshaun Watson situation, like I've stated before, innocent until proven guilty. I know there's the whole issue with him being probably suspended this year. I don't like how he threatened to sue the NFL, and then that when there was reports of him getting a year suspension, and then all of a sudden reports going down to 2 to 8 games. I don't like that. It's ridiculous. He should not be able to sue like that and get whatever he wants. I think if the claims are proven true, he should probably be suspended for a year. I think that's only fair. But I mean, yeah, I think it's some big mess. That contract is just going to hamper them for years to come. He has not played for a year. So again, we'll see if he's able to shake off that rust. He should have a good team around him. Like I said, with that offensive line being so good and having Nick Chubb behind him at running back, and Kareem Hunt too. Even though Kareem Hunt was injured a lot last year, and he's still POS for what he did. And the offensive line should be solid as always. Amari Cooper. But I mean, I just think the Browns are one of the worst run organizations in the league, and sure, they've shown flashes in the past couple of years. Nearly beat the Chiefs in the playoffs over a year and a half ago. But I mean, they're just a mess. They're just a giant mess. And I think the season just going to be rough for them, just depending on how long that suspension for Watson goes. And they totally did Baker Mayfield dirty. Absolutely despicable what they did. I'm glad the Panthers got him for basically nothing. And it's just, I don't like the Browns. I never liked their organization, even though I had Nick Chubb in fantasy last year and it was very good for me. But I mean, it's just, the team is just such a big fucking mess. I hate the Browns. I really do. I don't like their ownership. Their ownership can suck a dick. And I think the Browns, their record this year will be dependent on the Deshaun Watson suspension. And even then, he'll come back. He'll be rusty when he comes back. I'm sure he'll probably get some sort of suspension, and he'll still come back rusty. So it'll take a few games for him to get in. I think the Browns probably could sneak into the playoffs. Yes, depending on how Joe Burrow does for the Bengals, the Browns could seemingly finish second. I don't know. I don't think so. I think the Browns' record this year will be 9-8, 8-9. I think that's a reasonable prediction. They've got issues. I think their defense could take a hit. Like I said, lost a lot of players over the years, and Denzel Ward is great, but he's only a corner. So where their pass rush is going to come from, I have no idea. Probably Clowney. but I think their defense is going to take a step back for sure. And yeah, I think Browns 8 or 9 and 8 is a reasonable suggestion. Last but surely not least, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who will be going through transition this year, but we'll talk about all the things that happened to them this offseason. Made some key offseason additions, and they lost a lot of players. Brought in Trubisky, who I like to possibly get the starting role. I think he probably wins it. Offensive tackle Okorafor should be somewhat decent in there. James Daniels at offensive guard. Larry Ogunjobi should be. We'll see if he continues to progress and get better. Defensive tackle Miles Jack. New centerpiece of the defense. Oh, not centerpiece, but I think when I saw him getting picked up by the Steelers as a defensive captain for sure. He's just a general in the middle of the field. Bringing back Micah Fitzpatrick got a huge deal. Totally deserved. Had some key re-signings all over the board. And then, of course, they brought in Kenny Pickett. They got Kenny Pickett dropped to them, and it's just a perfect selection for them. I like Kenny Pickett a lot. I know people have talked about his hands. Like, who cares? I mean, it didn't stop him from doing well in college last year, being the ACC Player of the Year. So, I mean, I think it'll be a learning curve for him. I don't know if he wins starting quarterback. Honestly, I hope he doesn't, just because I think he needs some seasoning a little bit. Give Trubisky his chance for a little bit, and I think Kenny Pickett eventually does gain the starting position at some point in the season or by the end of the year. But yeah, I like Kenny Pickett a lot. I think he'll be a fine addition to that strong quarterback legacy they've had over the years. He should be great someday. Maybe not right away, but Steelers will be back in it again. Then they lost, of course, Big Ben, who finally is retiring, thankfully, for their sake. I mean, it's a good thing they got Kenny Pickett, because that way Mason Rudolph should not sniff a starting position, because he is terrible. Mason Rudolph is just... he's a boss. He's a big boss, for sure. Lost Juju, of course, Ray McLeod, James Washington, so there's 3 wide receivers they lost. I mean, they still have Deontay Johnson, but and Pat Freiermuth should be good. Keep getting better. Lost Eric Ebron. I think they just figure Freiermuth is going to be starting tight end. We'll see if he's able to remain healthy. Lost Stephon Tuitt to retirement, so that's going to be a blow. Joe Schobert, who is just a kind of a mess in there, even though he's shown flashes in the past. He's just, I don't know, he's not that great anymore. Lost Joe Hayden, who's been around for a while, so their cornerback position is going to be a little rough this year, I think. I think their defense is just going to be kind of a mess at times. Although, I mean, they still have DJ Watt, who's coming off nearly breaking Michael Strahan's record. I think in positions they have strong defensive players at spots, but they also have big weaknesses also. So I don't know how much better their defensive gets from last year. Same thing goes with their offensive line. Although they brought in some new faces for the offensive line, it's still when they were trying to shed salary last offseason, and their offensive line looked completely different this past season. It was just a big mess. I mean, no wonder. I mean, Big Ben is old, but no wonder why he could stand upright, because the offensive line is terrible. I don't know how much better it gets this offseason. I think James Daniels should be a good pickup a core of 4 might be something, but yeah, I think the Steelers will probably be in for a rough season. And their running back, can't remember his name. Oh, son, I'm a bad researcher. Apparently, I can't remember his name. But I think their starting running back should be, I don't know, should probably be about the same as he was last year, showing flashes, but the big yardage gains I don't think will be there. I think he'll just may be able to grind out another 1,000-yard season. But Steelers I think are going to be a mess. I think they probably finish in last, although they do have a bright future. Like I said, Kenny Pickett should be great someday for them. Even if maybe not this year, but next year probably. But I think Steelers' record will probably be around, I don't know, 6-11 might be a good one. Maybe 7-10. I don't think they get close to the playoffs, to be honest. They're looking rough. They're not going to be a bad team by any means. They're not going to be a top 10 pick team next year, but probably be below average team this year. Have some bright spots, but ultimately, yeah, I don't think they're going to do that well this year. So my overall standings for the AFC North this year: Ravens, I think I said 10-7, maybe 11-6. Bengals, same thing possibly. Browns 9-8 or 8-9, not sure which one. It's probably one of the. And then Steelers 6-11, maybe 7-10. So I hope you liked my breakdown of the AFC North this year. As I said, if you're just stumbling through my video, give it a watch, share it around. I know they're saying liking a video is ridiculous. I know I hate it too, but if you like my videos, it really helps me further and make better videos in the future. So as always, have a great day, and God bless.